Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. Hi, bud.
I feel like I'm getting sick.
You are not getting sick. Tell it no. How long? I have not gotten sick. I had that one day I thought I was getting a fever and I chased it out of my system.
I
You just
know.
tell it no. Do some visualization.
I'm scared when we go to Vegas, your body's gonna get sick there.
Oh, I'm real worried about that. I've thought about that a lot. And then I tell it no.
You need to get IVs every day up until then.
You know what? I really should actually get an IV before we go. Probably when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
They have like good ones out there because everybody gets drunk and hungover, So I'm sure they'll send somebody to the hotel. We'll get IV'd up one of the days.
Yeah.
I'm gonna for sure need that.
So for our mini, this case is a little wild.
Yes, we have a couple minis in the can, but then this came up and we're like,
we have to talk about it. And we'll start with saying we don't know what the truth is. So all of this is allegedly, all of this is still being investigated. So we're going to start with that. But what we're talking about is when women get accused of sexual harassment / sexual assault.
Yes.
Specifically within the workplace. So I have a quick story, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I do know someone. So before we jumped on to record, I was telling Janine, we make all these assessment judgments, which we'll come back to at the end.
Yeah.
Based on the situation, based on literally what you see, like reading a book or an article by its cover. That's literally what people do. Okay. So you look at this situation and you're like, I don't know if it's true. But if it is, right, we really want the identified victim to get justice and the services that they need and compensation or whatever that looks like. So that being said, I do think sometimes, most of the time, things are underreported, especially by men, like we've talked about. But when they are reported, it's a really big deal. And obviously,
you're saying when men report or when women report or both?
Both.
Well, we think it's a big deal. I don't know that organizations always treat it like it's a big deal.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm with you.
So, but you and I, within our scope of things, we think it's a big deal if there's any type of allegation and whatever.
Absolutely.
So I was telling Janine, so I know a woman who turned a dude down at a party. Okay. He has significant stuff that he's gone through, a pretty big rap sheet for himself. And he was trying to come on to this girl, and she, said no. She was married, and I don't know. I think he also was dating someone. I don't know. I can't remember the whole story. It was years ago, but she was married, and so she was like, yeah, no. Also, it was like she knew of this human, and she was like, there's no way. Well, he got upset and filed either sexual assault or sexual harassment charges against her.
Maybe you can't answer this, but did they work together or was it just a random human at a party?
They did not work together, but they knew each other through a mutual human.
Okay.
But then he filed a police report. And it almost wrecked this girl's future. Thankfully, it didn't, because there was literally no evidence. And well, there was, in the sense that there was evidence going against his allegation.
Right.
Because people were like, yeah, no, we were there and that did not happen. And, actually shared what did happen. And it was a whole thing. I actually think, based on my memory, she probably could have filed assault charges, not sexual assault, but assault charges on him. But I can't fully remember.
Okay.
Anyway, I shared that story because sometimes that's what happens, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
someone gets turned down and they, have some other things going on and potentially a rap sheet, and then it turns into this whole thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
they try to get revenge. And one of the worst ways, besides like literally maybe physically assaulting someone, is to go after their future, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and yes, I mean that's a horrible
It's
story.
horrible.
The Baldoni Blake Lively case
Yes.
settled. Would today or yesterday?
Oh, I didn't know what they settled.
They settled. We'll have to Google. I don't have like obviously it'll be a confidential settlement, but remember his countersuit got thrown out because they like didn't file some paperwork on time, which
Mm,
is nuts when you
mm-hmm,
think about it.
mm-hmm.
I don't know that we will ever know what the settlement was. Today they reached a settlement. So that's an interesting like juxtaposition. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently Blake Lively still went to the Met Gala hours after the settlement,
Oh my gosh.
which is wild. But again, they'll have NDAs. Like there's no way. We'll never know what the settlement was, but they have settled.
Mm,
And it's interesting because the mini that we want to talk about in light of what you just said, is the JP Morgan quote unquote boy toy lawsuit.
mm-hmm.
And there have been a lot of developments in this. And like Nat said, this is all allegedly. We don't know anything. This is for entertainment purposes only, but not in the way that you might think. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want to talk through like all the details of this because honestly,
You
if
can find that online
you can
everywhere
find
else.
this online, and if it's true, this is terrible and
Mhm.
re-traumatizing. The victim doesn't even know what he's doing to himself by going this way, this publicly.
Yeah.
If it's a false allegation, this is horrific for
Yeah.
her to have this out there. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if she's married with kids. I don't know all about her situation, but
Yeah.
this is just really sad if that's the case. So we don't want to give into a ton of that. So we're just going to give an overview, but then we really want to talk about what this looks like in our work and how we kind of support people when they're in these situations, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how this thing lands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's like just the chronology of this, and I'm sure there will be more coming out. Even as we speak, I just saw an article that there were more things filed with maybe a little bit of evidence, although it looks like anonymous witnesses at this point. So I don't know.
Mm.
It's like a roommate and then like a friend or something. So anyway, so spring of 2024, the alleged misconduct begins per the original complaint.
Okay.
In late 2024, Shirayu Rana left JP Morgan, one of the biggest banks in the world, right? In May of 2025, he filed an internal harassment complaint seeking a multi-million dollar severance, which was rejected. April 28th, 2026, the civil complaint was filed in the New York County Supreme Court under a pseudonym, John Doe.
Mm-hmm.
Days later, the original court filing was withdrawn for corrections, quote unquote corrections,
Mm-hmm.
shortly after details went viral. No criminal charges have been filed. So, the way that I found out about this, and you did too, and I think I sent it to you or you sent it to me, you just see this picture of this, lovely woman in her mid 30s, Lorna
Mm-hmm.
Hajdini,
Mm-hmm.
37-year-old executive director in JP Morgan's leveraged finance division. And then Shirayu Rana was 35, worked on the same leveraged finance team, but did not report directly to her. The complaint alleged that there was a coercive sexual relationship using career leverage, including potentially drugging, quid pro quo, promotion threats. Um, there's some allegations of some racially derogatory language, and then just some kind of like back and forth retaliation complaints. So, including one of the complaints is that he got aggressively negative references when he sought other employment. Okay, so that's kind of the case that he's trying to file here
Mhm.
against her.
Mhm.
So basically, JP Morgan and Hajjini say that the internal investigation that JP Morgan did reviewed emails, phone records, and conducted employee interviews, and the bank found no evidence supporting the allegations. Now, by the time they come out and say that, this has already hit social media. It was on TikTok, Instagram. I mean, I was seeing it everywhere, right?
Mhm.
A spokesperson said that numerous employees cooperated, but Rana refused to participate or provide key facts central to his claims. And then Hajdini, through her counsel, basically said that she categorically denies the allegations. She never engaged in any inappropriate conduct with
Mhm.
this person and has never been to the location where the alleged assault took place.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty big denial. That's not just, well, we were at a party one time, but nothing happened. This is like, I don't know nothing, man. I haven't been to his place. I don't, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And so far, the bank is really standing behind Hajdini, but they did a pretty thorough investigation.
Mhm.
So there's a couple of interesting things at play here. And like I said, there were already a few more claims that have come out, and all of this is allegedly, right?
Mhm.
All of this is allegedly. This is super unusual for a couple of reasons. There is literature that talks about female perpetrated sexual coercion of male subordinates,
Mhm.
right? And you were saying when we were getting on like Schmidt on New Girl,
And New Girl.
right?
Yeah. When he had like that wildly inappropriate relationship with his boss.
Yes. And within BDSM, this actually is
Mhm.
a fairly common kind of trope.
Mhm.
Okay. But it's really unusual. I mean, I can't think of any other cases off the top of my head that this has been a thing
Mhm.
within a corporate setting. And corporate stuff can be wild, but they also have very real HR departments, very real trainings around this stuff. So if people mess with this, they know that it can screw up their entire life. They're not
Right.
like ignorant to that typically
Right.
in these big
Right.
institutions, right? So here's one of my questions, right? We kind of have to be careful to not just believe something that's out there and let the court of public opinion have an opinion before the evidence lines up,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
For this very reason. She's
Mhm.
now associated with all of these news stories, all of this stuff,
Yeah.
which is
Like when someone,
totally
if she ever
slanted.
tries to get another job and they Google her,
All this comes up,
yeah.
right? And so the other flip side of it, though, is if this is true, if women have an uphill battle being
Mhm.
believed, men really have an uphill battle being believed.
Mhm.
There's a couple squirrely things allegedly about this guy that he may have made up his father's death to take leave
Mhm.
before he filed this lawsuit. Like there's some stuff on this that is
Mhm. Mhm.
questionable.
Mhm.
And I think that people, as quick as this blew up, it's already starting to be like, what? What's his deal? So I don't know
Mhm.
where it will land because then
Mhm.
again, he just filed more stuff. So who knows? But Nat, what do you think is a lot of people's first reaction when they hear a story like this? Like when you talk about the judging a book by its cover, what does that mean? What are we actually looking at to try to figure out if this is true or not when we have no facts? It's the
Well,
bias. What's the bias that we have?
it's so bad because like you look at their picture and she's beautiful.
She says she goes, almost sound like an asshole. And I'm like,
I
well,
am.
that is everyone's bias, though,
It
to a
is
degree.
though. Well, and I looked at other pictures. He's a handsome guy, but when
Mhm.
you just look at the pictures that are posted,
Yes.
which I think also media does this on purpose.
Media does it.
So
I
this is
know.
not a fair representation of him because I saw
No.
another picture and I was like, no, he's like a handsome guy,
Yeah.
whatever. But the picture that is plastered everywhere, he's not probably giving his best angle.
Well, no, and he just looks kind of dopey. It's
He
like
looks dopey,
clearly
and
he didn't
she's
know his picture was being taken.
no, and she's beautiful.
No, and hers is like a professional headshot, and she looks beautiful and professional.
I mean, his is kind of his also is a headshot.
Oh, one I
He
thought was like he's like practically eating a sandwich, you know, like it's oh, I've
oh
seen
no,
that
the
one.
one that I'm looking at is a headshot.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But he looks, you know, again, like sometimes people just don't take great photos. They're not always the most
Right.
photogenic. But at first glance, you look at them and you're like, there's no way
Yes.
that this is real. But again, like, you know, it very much could be.
Well, and he has a credibility
Mm-hmm.
issue allegedly from right out the gate because
Mm-hmm.
his father's very much alive and spoke to the New York Post. So going on bereavement leave for your father who's alive isn't a great start to this whole thing.
No.
It's just not because I really went in and I was like, I really want to hold space for this because we do know men who've been victimized in different ways. And
Mm-hmm.
that may be the case here. I don't know. And he
Right.
allegedly has witnesses,
Right.
right? But we do typically look at this and go, I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is this plausible based on just sheer looking at it?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know, I'll be curious, like similar to the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni
Hmm.
mess, which is so sad because that whole mess like ruined the movie when
Hmm.
the movie had such a like a is a hard movie, but like the point of it was such a, you know, like how to
Hmm.
escape abusive relationships and, you know, empowerment and
Hmm.
autonomy and all that. So it's just such a bummer that their bullshit ruined it. Sorry, Tina. Um,
No, bad.
but this situation, I'll be curious to see if there's other receipts on both sides,
Yes.
you know.
Well, and if this is a false allegation, it's just the worst kind of abuse of a
Mhm,
system. It's sensationalism, it's all the
mhm,
things.
mhm,
And it just sets us back because
mhm,
then bad actors sometimes use that as, you know,
mhm,
their reference point that people make stuff up. And it becomes, well, remember the JP Morgan situation? And it's like,
mhm,
yeah, also there's a million to one of times that this
mhm.
actually does happen, and it's hard for someone to be believed.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, TriWest, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community. Just for the record, I'm currently looking at a picture of Rana.
Yes.
And he with his mom and dad, and he's very handsome in this picture.
Yes.
So, like,
And
I,
tall for the people who care about that,
I
which is
just want the
apparently
record to say I'm not a total asshole
yes.
for looking at the one that is plastered everywhere online.
Yes, which is
And
interesting.
no, that's what I'm saying.
It is interesting.
That's the message that I think media is trying to portray is that, like, look at the difference here. He's out of his
Yes.
mind, which maybe he might not be. She might have done this.
Well, these claims are wild.
Hmm.
Okay. They are wild.
They're wild. If it's true, if she said
Oh,
even half
half, any of it. If
of
they find one text
this,
message with any of these things, He
She's
should
hosed.
never work another day in his life. He will be set for life.
Yeah, no, she's
If
hosed.
she didn't, then she should burn it down. Like,
No,
I really
100%.
just,
Because if she
she'll never
didn't,
work
her
again for other reasons.
her reputation is wrecked
Mm.
if this is true.
And how pissed would you be,
Mm.
okay, if you work so hard your whole career and you get to this place, and
Mhm.
let's say she's as professional as JP Morgan is supporting, and there's no evidence of this,
Mhm.
and this man, for whatever reason that we will probably figure out at some point, comes out and is just guns ablazing about this, and it ruins your reputation like this. That is unbelievable. So I hope they get to the bottom of it, like, definitively. That's what
I do too. I do too.
but
And whatever way it spins, I hope that whoever needs it gets justice,
100%.
you know?
I agree totally. And I think you and I have well, I know you and I have shared on the podcast that we've had moments in a workplace that have been inappropriate to smaller and larger degrees.
Mhm.
It is actually part of being a woman that we have to navigate this. It's real
Mhm.
shitty, and it's just the truth. And I don't know many people who haven't had an experience at work with
Mhm.
someone where there was a power differential and it was weird. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
It's been true in my life, and it's been true in most of my girlfriends' lives.
Mhm.
I don't know of any men off the top of my head that I know who've been in a situation like this, if it's true. But I do know that women sometimes jokingly will flirt with this line more than men. Not like what this guy's saying. This guy is saying some gnarly stuff. But if you have like a female team, they will talk about stuff sometimes that
Mhm.
when a man's in the room hits different than when it's just females. And we work in a female dominated industry. And so we'll be hanging out talking about whatever, nothing super inappropriate, but just girl stuff,
Mhm.
right? Even like having babies and all this kind of stuff. And our coworkers are so great and whatever. But the wrong comment in the wrong place can be an issue for either gender.
Mhm.
It's more likely to feel like a weapon against a woman because a woman's way more likely to be assaulted
Mhm.
statistically, right?
Yep.
Even with the underreporting, it still
Yep.
is what it is, right?
Yep. Yep.
So as this goes into the court system, because this has been filed with the Supreme Court in New York, which is kind of wild, honestly, when you think about it. Civil suits are a preponderance of the evidence and are filed by the plaintiff with no neutral gatekeeper. Internal corporate investigations do whatever the employer's policy says and are conducted by the employer, which in JP Morgan's case is a big corporate company. So they're going to have a whole process,
I mean,
right?
I bank with Chase.
You Chase. Oh no, this is JP Morgan.
They're under JP
Are
Morgan.
they? Chase is under JP Morgan? Oh God. JP Morgan's like big, right? Criminal investigations require probable cause and a prosecutor. No criminal charges have been filed. And he makes some allegations that would be criminal if true and if there were evidence to support it, right?
Mhm.
Each system has a different question and different level of proof,
Mhm.
right? Required. So, what do you think, Nat, about him withdrawing it? And then
Well, it depends
putting
on why he withdrew it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did he withdraw it because he maybe realized, one, it's hard to go into this situation as a John Doe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to say it this way because I know historically when victims go in, they're not always believed, so they don't necessarily, they want it to be anonymous. So I understand that. And also,
It makes that hard.
it makes it hard. And in a position like this, where, I mean, these are like executives in JP Morgan, like corporate level. So if you're going to make allegations like this, you almost have to go in like, like full force ahead.
Yes.
With receipts, you got to be like ready with everything
Yeah.
you need in order to have this like go your way.
Yes.
So maybe he didn't go in super prepared and then withdrew. And
Mm,
then, as you mentioned, like there's maybe some new evidence. So maybe
mhm.
he's now coming back with receipts, but it sounds like he didn't really have a ton of receipts
Yeah.
initially.
Well, and we have to be careful about like Hajdini cooperated with the JP Morgan investigation, but I also would expect that. It is also in the bank's best interest to back her and have this not be a thing. I'm not suggesting anything in saying that. I'm just saying it's just pure dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'd prefer to not pay millions of dollars. So it can be an independent investigation, but how independent is it? The internal probe. So I don't think we can make too much of Rana not participating in that investigation.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think if it's true that he lied about his father dying, collected paid leave, and used that time to prepare this lawsuit, that's an issue.
Well, his dad literally said, I don't know anything about it. He
Mhm.
didn't talk with us or anything.
Mm-mm.
And then
No.
he said, but he's my son, or he's my son, and he's a good guy.
Mm. The other thing that's really weird is the drugging allegation. You can't test for that unless it's like in real time. And even then, it's actually pretty hard to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So the sensational part of this of being like, and then I was drugged is really hard to then later have evidence of. And so
Mm-hmm.
this sucks for female victims, male victims, but it also sucks if you make an allegation of this because they can't prove or disprove this. So for her, the allegations that he's made are really challenging from a reputation perspective. But I agree with you. If there's no receipts, there's no receipts. But like they
Mm-hmm.
can't go back and test him for any of this stuff. It's just he said, she said, which is
Mm-hmm.
awful. And then the social media verdict is really interesting because I haven't seen many cases go up and down this fast. The Taylor Frankie Paul one did a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to take a nuanced take. If you just stand 10 toes down one side or the other,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna hear about it. We took a stand in the Taylor Frankie Paul case because honestly, it's our literal job. And
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what Dakota did, what Taylor did meets the legal definition of domestic violence. Then what
Mm-hmm.
happens in the civil courts, just like this, is separate. Civil
Mm-hmm.
separate than criminal is separate than if they were working together, right?
Well, and so many people don't understand that.
They don't get it. And it doesn't matter. It does not matter what someone does. There are legal thresholds for this stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen one become this viral and then have it turn this fast in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real ballsy to take on a bank like this. Like, can you imagine the pockets that these people have to come at him if he made it up?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, you know?
Yeah,
Boo, it's a
I
mess.
know. Well, it's interesting. So, like, I mean, obviously she denied all the allegations.
Hmm.
She said she never engaged in any of the things that he said and was not and has never been in the location
Yes.
where the alleged sexual assaults have happened. Um, he also revealed that he left his job at a private equity firm on April 2nd, just over 3 weeks before filing this suit.
Mm,
So it's just interesting, you know?
yes.
Like the timing
Interesting.
of it's interesting.
Yes.
I'll be curious to see where this lands.
Well, and it is not a cop out. And this is something y'all, God bless you, y'all have opinions about everything, which I love. I'm the same way. But the forensic read of a situation is always more information is better.
Yeah.
Always. And so sitting with the tension of if this is true, it's terrible. If
Mm-hmm.
this is not true, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit with that tension. We have to as people. If we jump to one side or the other, we're doing a lot of damage. And so I think this is kind of a cautionary tale that, if you're gonna have a big opinion, like Taylor Frankie Paul throwing a chair that hits her kid, that's abuse, period. End of discussion. Like, we're gonna stand on that every day. This kind of a case, when everything's allegations, there's very little real information floating around. It's worth talking about because how these things get handled matter a lot. Most of us know people who've been touched by something like this. If not ourselves, we've had a situation like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something that I think hits a lot of people some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Well,
think
you and I personally have not had a situation like this. I don't think.
no one's had a situation like this. I'm sorry. The allegations in this one, except maybe him, okay, allegedly.
I
This is
know.
some wild shit, okay?
But I've never been accused of anything like this.
No, I've never been accused of anything. What I'm saying is I've had someone be inappropriate with me in the workplace before.
Oh, yeah, same.
Not my current employer, nothing. It was a long time ago.
Same, yeah.
It's
This
not
was
even a
back when
place
I
that's
worked
open
in
anymore.
college.
Yeah. The place this happened is not even open anymore. So it's not a thing.
Same.
But which also not surprising.
Right.
But I think having walked through that though, I know how hesitant I was, and I never really told
Mhm.
anyone except I addressed it myself. And I didn't even talk to my parents about it. And I tell them lots of things. I'm tight with my family. I just handled it. And that's what we see more often. How did this get leaked? Do we know?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if he took this to the media or if it got leaked. So if you know that, tell us, because that's important too. Because it
Yeah.
got filed John Doe.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I did.
But who leaked it? Did he release it to the media? I don't know.
Yeah.
How did it
Yeah.
change from John Doe to him specifically? I do not know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Mm-hmm.
But it's a crazy situation. So we will keep you guys posted as we find out more. And it looks like there's stuff coming out practically every hour about this. So we'll keep you posted. But let us know what you guys think. And then on Friday, we have a wild episode for you. And if you want to get ahead of the curve and you want to hear our take on it, watch Should I Marry a Murderer on Netflix.
Wild.
It is wild. And
I finished it.
You did?
I finished it.
Oh my gosh, it's very good. It is worth the watch. It is very interesting.
Mhm.
And we're going to really talk about a lot of different
Mhm.
angles in
I
it.
would love to do a follow-up on
Yeah.
my thoughts on the ending because it confirms what we said.
Yes. Yes.
It confirms it totally. The way he responded at the end,
Yes.
everything. I was like, yep, we were correct.
I think so too.
I actually think the brother, I stick to what I said about the brother
The brother.
being maybe the ringleader.
It could be. It could be.
Because of their reactions at the end. I'm just saying.
It could be.
So take that, guys. Take
Uh-huh.
that little teaser and go watch it and then listen
gotta
to
go
the
watch
episode on
it.
Friday.
Yes. Or if you just want us to tell you the story and our takes and you don't have 3 hours to watch it, just listen and we'll tell you the whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining for our mini. We will see y'all on Friday.
As always.
Bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more Crime, Psychology, and Heart.